Happy New Year's from the Overcoming Mediocrity podcast and your host, Christie Ruffino. We are thankful for our listeners and look forward to a great 2021 with you.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Overcoming Mediocrity podcast. This is Christie Ruffino, and we are on Goals to Fruition, Part 2. And if you listened to last week's episode, you are right on track. But if not, I encourage you to go back and listen to that episode first and then come back, because we had a few pieces of the puzzle that are really important for you to get squared away before we can move on to the next few steps. The first thing we did is we looked at your year in review. Right? We wanted to take inventory of what happened in 2021 so you could effectively create the best goals possible for your business in 2022. Then we looked at your wheel of life to make sure that you had balance in all areas. And we identified a few things in each one of the areas that you can focus on to make sure your wheel gets a little more balanced. Then we went to step 3 to identify your purpose-driven business. So we can really pinpoint with clarity what you should be working on. So you can make a plan that will be able to have the best impact in the world, the most influence to your ideal group of people, and allow you to have the best income stream so you can have more freedom in your life, right? That's what we all want, is more freedom. So we can spend the ideal time creating experiences with our friends and our family. And if you have not yet downloaded my Goals to Fruition workbook, please go do that at overcomingmediocrity.org/goals. You just have to simply trade in your email address and your name, and then you will get that guide delivered directly to your inbox. And today we're going to go to step 4. We want to make sure that before we move forward, we identify anything that can be holding us back, because we can have more power over something if we know what it is. But those sneak attack situations are what can sometimes pull the rug out from underneath our feet. So let's look at your limiting beliefs and really identify the things that are holding you back from moving forward at accomplishing certain goals. So I have a list. And I'm not going to verbally go through the whole list, but I have a whole list of different things that could be potentially running through your brain anytime you think of any of these big, scary goals. Maybe it's that you're not good enough. Maybe it's that you're not lucky. Maybe you feel you're too old or too young. You don't have enough experience. You shouldn't want more in your life. That's a big thing. Sometimes we don't feel worthy. Sometimes we're afraid of success. Maybe it's that we're afraid of what people are going to think of us. Maybe it's the fear of failure. Maybe we have mindset things around money. I don't know. Some people have a lot of baggage when it comes to money. Maybe it's fame. I don't know. For me, that was a big one for a long time. I spent many, 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 many years as an entrepreneur trying to build a business by staying in the hiding, right? Staying in the back to elevate everybody else and to kind of be the one behind the scenes. That didn't work. I mean, it worked, but it limited my success because nobody could connect with me. People didn't necessarily know who I was or could relate to me. And so they weren't connected to my mission. Now, my leadership team knew what I was doing. My leadership team was completely connected to my mission. But that mission didn't properly get translated to their team. And so there was this big gap in what I wanted to do in the world, how I wanted to show up in relationship to my networking organization, the Dynamic Professional Women's Network. My passion, my dreams, my goals, my blood, sweat, and tears to make that organization thrive. Nobody knew it except my leadership team. My members didn't know. People that I knew in the networking world didn't know. They didn't know what I struggled with. They didn't know how much money I spent on a website, my first big website. I got talked into spending almost $25,000 on a website that basically did nothing for me based on what the promises were. I still have a credit card I'm paying that down on. So, just think about that. When we stay hidden, when people don't connect to our mission and our purpose and our why, it's hard for us to have a loyal following. And we really need that. Our customers can buy your widget anywhere, but they can't buy you. So the fact that you keep yourself hidden because you don't want the fame, you don't want to be seen as egotistical, it's not going to serve you. And more importantly, it's not going to serve them. When you show up big in the world, other people want to be big like you. And they want to follow you. They want to look up to you. They want to learn from you. So you're not serving the world by staying hidden. And that is a big limiting belief. And there are so many more. But go through this exercise. Identify each one that resonates with you. All right. This is where our rubber is going to meet the road. I want you to write a 1-sentence summary about where you are now. If you feel stuck, if you feel that you are not living your potential, if you feel like you're not making the money you should, maybe you're happy, maybe you're satisfied. Whatever that is, where are you now? Give me a 1-sentence summary. It can be a long sentence, but I don't want 2 or 3. I want a 1-sentence summary. And then I want you to pivot. I want you to expand your thinking. Blow up the context of where you feel you should be and go back to when you were a child, when you didn't have all of the limitations, when people didn't tell before your parents started telling you no. I want you to think about what you would love to have happen in 2022. A 1-sentence summary of how great your business could be, how you want it to be. You have a genie. You can make one wish. What would that look like? And then this is where I want you to go back and look at all of your prior limiting beliefs and identify the top 5. Which one of those limiting beliefs that you checked off above are going to possibly be roadblocks for you? All right. So now we're going to take that information and create a new decision matrix. What's amazing about our mind is that we have unconscious decisions that shape every aspect in our life. When we have an area of our life that we are not thriving, it's really because we've unconsciously decided for it to be that way. You may not agree, you may not like that, But our unconscious mind has so much more power than we can give it credit for. And that's kind of scary. But it also contains great news because we can reshape these decisions. We can make new empowering decisions about ourselves and our outcome that we can create a new, powerful, empowering outcome by just creating a new decision. This decision matrix will help us consciously construct a blueprint for who we want to become and for rewiring our brain and for designing our life to really be its highest level possible. So now what we want to do is we want to take the 5 top limiting beliefs and reframe them into new empowering decisions. So let's go back to our previous example when I was sharing about staying hidden, about fame. And that limiting belief maybe was that what's holding me back is that I stay hidden because I don't want to be seen as egotistical, I don't know, full of myself. And when people see me, then I have to show up perfectly. And if they see me fail, they're going to see me fail as well. So I'm safe. So let's reframe that and have it be an empowering statement. Now, I just kind of wung it. I didn't have this completely scripted, but let's use the same example. And let's say I am not going to stay hidden because it is not serving me. It is not serving my clients. I may fail, but it's okay because my clients will relate better to me through my failures as they do to my successes. And that by showing up proudly and authentically, it gives my clients permission to also show up proudly and authentically. So I took that limiting belief and I turned it on its head. And you can do that with each one of them. So take a minute to take your 5 top limiting beliefs and reframe them into a completely new empowering statement that will help you make things happen. And a little nuance to this is we want to make sure that we use the present tense, not the future. Because when we talk about the future, it's as if it could happen. But if we frame that statement in present tense, then what that does is it makes our brain believe that it is, that it's not a possibility, that it's a certainty. So when I said I'm going to show up early or authentically in the world, it would be I am showing up authentically in the world. I am comfortable being in the limelight. Whatever that is, it's a current present tense statement. All right, take a moment to do that, and then we'll move on to step 5. All right, step 5. This is our new success habit. So I've heard different amounts of time, but I like to stick with 21 days as the time frame of when a routine or a habit becomes a normal part of life. So in order for us to achieve any level of greatness, we need to dream big, set big goals, and take massive action. But we have to have the action piece of that. And we have to continue to take these actions and keep adding more actions to it until it just becomes a part of our life and a part of who we are. So in step 5, this is kind of where we're going to create new success habits. This is when we're going to give ourselves permission to own this process and own our outcome. This is just a little form. You don't need to send it in to me, but it's just a physical way of acknowledging and taking ownership of this process and making a promise to ourselves that we're going to make these changes. So fill out the permission slip, sign it, date it, put it somewhere. If you keep this guide from year to year, it's okay. Keep it in the guide. But starting today, I give myself permission to shine in the following ways. Go ahead and fill that out. And then before that happens, these areas need to be adjusted. What do you need to take away? What do you need to stop doing? What do you need to change? We can't keep adding more and more unless we take something away. So what are you doing right now that's not serving you? That's not serving your mission? That's not serving others? Take assessment of that. Feel free to give yourself permission to get rid of something in your life that you shouldn't be doing. Maybe this is just that you need to hire one part-time person 10 hours a week to do minimal stuff. You have to start somewhere. You have to identify and recognize that for you to achieve bigger and better goals, you have to make other changes as well to get rid of things that don't serve your mission. Now, this is what we have to do on a daily basis. We need to create a daily ritual around this whole goal process. Consistent daily actions will create new habits. And this daily ritual is the most effective way to develop the mental habits necessary to change your brain and transform your life. Consistently practicing these rituals will have a profound effect in everything you do. So step 1, every day, read your new empowering decision matrix that you did in step 4 every morning. Keep it in a highly visible place to trigger active brain stimulation. Obsess about your new decisions. Create a recording that you're going to share with yourself every day. Maybe, I don't know, can you have that recording be what you wake up to every morning? Maybe your phone won't do that with your alarm, but you can wake up and, ask Alexis to play it. Maybe you can just program that with Alexis that she does it every morning and maybe play it every night. Maybe have it come on a reminder every day at noon to listen to your recording or to read it. And as you're doing this, notice anytime a limiting belief becomes triggered. Acknowledge it, but then let it go. Make a vision board. I am a firm believer about having a vision board. I have a vision board next to my desk. Actually, it's part of my desk that has, years since I've gotten it, of things added and taken away. It's constantly updated every year. And I look at every year what's right in front of me, things that are important to me to keep progressing. Now, we talked about defining your goals, making this new decision matrix, but then we have to put the action steps in place. So that's step 6, break down the action steps to make these decisions become a reality. Schedule the actions into your calendar. I don't know, like for me, one of my big goals is to do more events in 2022. I have specific events that I want to create. It's not just general events, it's specific events. And I have a 2022 marketing calendar right in front of me. And I have each one of these events scheduled in. And for each one of these events, I've scheduled in a checklist in I use ClickUp to manage my different projects I'm working on. And so I've already started to create action steps for each one of these events because it's again, it's not like Santa. I can't make a list and poof, it appears. I actually have to implement things. And every time I create something, I create a process around that is duplicatable or a process that I can outsource. And every time you do something, if you create a manual around that, where you can do it once and then have somebody else just continue on by giving them the manual, that is really one of the best ways to create a duplicatable system. So schedule these things into your calendar, write down the steps, and then make a list of rewards that you can celebrate every time you accomplish one of these different steps. I know for me, it's kind of silly, but I used to do a yearly big all day multi-speaker women's conference. I did it for many, many years. Well, different ways. I had different events, but every time I did a really big event that took a lot of time for me to put together and a team of people, and lots of great things happened with that. My personal reward was to buy myself a new pair of cowboy boots. And for me, I don't know, I didn't want to just go buy a $300 pair of cowboy boots just because I felt like it. But when I accomplished that event and it was so successful or not so successful, whatever the outcome was, I still celebrated. I gave myself a little reward for going through that process and carrying it on to the end. So make a list. Maybe it's just a simple binge night for Netflix. Maybe it's a massage. Maybe it's a pedicure. I don't know. Special dessert. Actually, that's another thing I did. I took my daughter, who was my one-man team for many years, managed everything with me. We went out for dinner after my big events. So that was kind of one of our routines, but that was a celebration for me and her. And then moving on to step 9, like we said earlier, what do we need to get rid of to make room for these new changes? Step 10, share this with 3 people. And honestly, of all of these steps, number 10 is the most important. Because if you keep all of this to yourself, I don't know, the accountability is not there. It's very easy for you just to push this under a pile of papers and never do anything with it. But if you get an accountability buddy or 2, and you all go through this process and then you share these books with each other, now this becomes a powerful yearly experience for all 3 of you. And I will tell you, you'll probably all surpass any goal you can think of as you continue to do this exercise. And there you go. That is it, my friends. that is the extent of my goals to fruition process. Goals made easy, powerful goals made easy, whatever you want to call it. We can accomplish anything we set our mind to as long as we put the right processes in place to change our brain patterns, to create accountability, and to move on to bigger and better goals. So I'd love to hear what kind of goals you have set for 2022. Feel free to email me. I'd love to hear. I'd love to support you on that process. If one of your goals is to become an author, to share your story and learn how to leverage your story bigger and better and greater in the world, reach out to me. I'd love to explore what that would look like. We produce 2 Overcoming Mediocrity books a year, where we've helped hundreds of women get out there and share their stories in a big way. Maybe you're listening and you're not a woman. Don't worry. I've helped clients produce anthology or co-authored books as well. And I have a few clients that have amazing co-authored books that are men and women. And I would love to be able to make that introduction. Maybe you have a business that has a lot of clients and you would love to have a co-authored book to help them and build your brand. We've been doing a lot of that lately. We have a great system where we do every step of the process with your clients to help them identify their signature story, share it in a way that's going to make a big impact, and leverage it in a book that contains you, your brand, their stories, and will help all of you achieve great goals for your new year. Any of those ways I could support you, please feel free to reach out. You can connect with me at christieruffino.com, or I believe support@overcomingmediocrity.org. All of that contact information, as well as the link for you to get this goals guide, is available for you in the show notes below. I hope you enjoyed these 2 series episodes on goal setting. I know I love helping women accomplish their goals every year. I've got a great 2022 planned for my audience to bring in some amazing guests. So stay tuned. If you learned anything today, please share it with somebody you know. And if you like our podcast, please go to whatever platform you listen and subscribe, rate, and we would love to have more reviews. I am excited to see your powerful decision matrix and see the amazing things that you accomplish in 2022. And until then, I will see you on our next episode. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Overcoming Mediocrity podcast, where we believe that everyone can have the business and life of their dreams once they've learned the art of mastering their story. Mastering our stories is the key to everything we want in life. Our stories can either hold us back or they can propel us to new heights. We can choose. You can choose. Choose to overcome mediocrity with us. Let's achieve greatness together. To learn more, visit www.overcomingmediocrity.org. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast.